We'll go into each one and tell a little bit more about it. But this is like really good stuff because all these things you think are just part of you and deficiencies in you, those are just deficiencies in how you were mothered. That just speaks on her parenting, and not on purpose. These people are always trying to be mean. They're just projecting and they can't even help it. You can't help it if you can't see it, you know? So, good mother messages you should have received, unspoken in the way your parents were with you, your mom was with you. I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad you're here is an important first message for a child to hear. This message is communicated through behaviors that tell the child she's valued and wanted. Many believe this fundamental sense of being wanted begins in utero. I'm one of them. Certainly there are many moments in children's lives in which they feel either wanted or not. I would suggest that this is not an all or nothing experience, but rather a matter of degree, and that isolated moments of feeling unwanted can be counterbalanced to a great extent by a larger stream of experiences where the child feels valued. The message, I'm glad you're here, helps us be glad that we're here. It helps us feel comfortable in taking up space and being in our bodies. Basically feeling like you're good enough and feeling worthy and feeling whole and content in yourself. Confident. You know, not like the bravado, brave or ability to do all these crazy things, just about feeling confident in yourself, just even standing still. Yeah, the in utero part, well, they've proven this. Babies are getting cortisol dumps. If their mom was dysregulated and upset, you know, those are hormones they're getting cortisol dumps themselves easily through, you know, hormonal imbalances that occur during pregnancy because they're giving life, you know, their body's doing a lot. But especially if they're dysregulated and emotional and going through their own things, even while you're in utero, this baby, you're in there forming and you're getting cortisol dumps through the placenta. You're getting all of her blood flow is going to you, which includes cortisol, stress hormone. So this baby's literally forming a world around stress as part of like the background. Can you imagine that? It's like you can't even figure out the depth of what that even means. Let's go to the next one. I see you. A mother conveys I see you primarily through accurate mirroring and attuned responsiveness. Mirroring is like if you're upset, she shows on her face that she sees you and she's accepting of this upsetness. A lot of parents, out of goodwill even, they try to get the kid to stop feeling sad right away. You know, it's a natural response. Oh, it's okay, it's not that bad. Look, distract. Well, this shows the baby that it's something to avoid, even though moments of sadness happen and they come and then they go normally. But if it's a constant repetition in your childhood of we got to change this, we can't have a sad moment, you know? It should all be hunky dory. I thought life is about that, and it's not. And well, it becomes this emotion that we're like running from, and we live our lives in ways where we try to avoid it. You know, if it keeps going and going. So it can be damaging. She knows, for instance, what we like and what we don't. She knows what our interests are and how we feel about things. Being seen is being known, and therefore a sense of knowing yourself. Okay, you're special to me. Here's the next one. The message "you're special to me," usually not said in words, tells us that we are prized. As is true with other messages, this needs to be paired with the sense of being seen for who we are, so that we do not associate specialness with some superficial external quality or image. We feel enough in ourselves, so we're not going around worried about how everybody else feels all the time. And I know that could conjure up some thoughts of like, well, then you'll just be rude all the time. No, if you grow up with an open heart, compassion comes with the territory. You know, that doesn't mean that you just completely disregard other people. In fact, being in touch with your emotions helps you to feel that compassion even more. When you're not running from emotions, you're actually in touch with what's going on. You see them come and you see them go, and you're still there. You're still just there, and you're not watching. Oh. You don't spend your life like that, because that's a dysregulated person. That's a dysregulated parent. You're doing to your kid what you're just busy doing to yourself. That's how the pattern, generational trauma or whatever that's how patterns go. Here's a good one. I respect you. A mother communicates, I respect you, when she supports a child's uniqueness, doesn't try to control when there's no need to, accepts the child's preferences and decisions, and communicates that she values what she sees in the child. That's a good one. I'm telling you, if you're correcting all the time, you might have good intentions, but you're showing them that they're only good if. They're only good if. And also parenting the parent. Now they need to control your emotions. They need to make sure you're okay, because they don't want to see that anger face of you getting upset with them. Or even if you're not getting upset ever, even if there's no change of expression, but you're constantly correcting instead of connecting more often, well, what do you think happens? Do you think this kid's very good at self-regulating and equanimous and okay, Or this kid's going to be okay with themselves all the time? Yeah. Children who feel respected and loved in a genuine way will have permission to discover and express their unique self, rather than mirror the parents or conform to some parental blueprint, the parent's projection. And again, these could be good things that they want for you, but it just doesn't work out that way. You got to think, before all these thought patterns were governing them and their parents, before all these things were overlaying reality, we were just animals doing animal things. It was very simple. You worried about something real quick in the moment, like survival thing or whatever, out in nature where we spend a lot of our time. They wouldn't project all that stuff. They would just be there with you through it. That's all we needed. It is really simple. If there's not the extra thought layer, running above everything, casting a shadow over everything, or conform to some parental blueprint. I wrote, learns to be authentic instead of people-pleasing. Gabo or Mate, I don't know how to pronounce it, but he's always talking about being authentic, and I was brought up fawn, freeze, well, all of the 4 Fs. Fight, flight, or freeze, or fawn, yeah. So I had little bits of all those. Okay, it's tomorrow. Life happens, and here we are. Okay, so the next good mother message that you should have received is, I love you. And it's often conveyed by these simple words, yet needs to be experienced as sincere and authentic. Not just your parent telling you that they love you in between barking things and, generally not being okay with you and correcting you all the time, It's a precarious situation. You got to be able to correct your kids sometimes, but you need to connect way more. Otherwise, you end up with a kid who doesn't call you on Christmas, that kind of thing, or like barely wants to. Y'all ain't cool. Y'all ain't friends, and they grew up with problems. Many children hear these words or experience the meaning of these words several times a day. Others go a lifetime without them. It's important that they not be perceived as manipulative and not paired with requiring something of the child, obviously. Then that teaches them to people please for love. It's pretty basic. It seems basic when you say it out loud, but like a lot of these things go on and you had no idea, Same here. I knew my family kind of sucked, and it was kind of like a joke that we weren't like cohesive, but we were always fighting. There were police around there. But yeah, I didn't really realize what I was getting shortchanged on. Like parental love, which when they love you, you learn to love yourself. It's really weird, but whatever example they give you, that's what you carry on. And when you are taught not to love yourself because they didn't love you, in these truer, like very authentic kind of ways, in these full accepting ways, that's how we end up on videos like this. So this part I highlighted. Love is probably most effectively communicated by nonverbal means, including touch, tone of voice, eyes, and facial expression, body language, and attentiveness. When the environment provides a secure sense of holding and containment, such as provided through boundaries and rules, this also feels like love. So it can be done, boundaries, rules, but it has to be in a loving way and not a dysregulated, your parent has an angry face at you. That doesn't feel like love to a kid. They end up rejecting themselves because they're being rejected over and over. Okay, the next good mother message. Your needs are important to me. You can turn to me for help. With this message, we get the sense that mother's attentiveness comes out of love and genuine caring, what we're talking about. There's some overlap, like I said. It's not just that mother saying, I'll take care of you because I have to or when I get to it, but because this is actually important. You can turn to me for help gives permission. It says you don't have to hide your needs or try to take care of them yourself. Okay, the next good mother message. We're rolling through these, though. We're almost at the end. I'm here for you. I'll make time for you. Again, overlap from the last. I'm here for you is a way of saying you can count on me. I'm not going to disappear on you. Often this will relate to specific needs, but beyond that, it means I'm here as a consistent presence in your life. This supports a sense of relaxation and trust. A lot of us with anxiety, there's no sense of relaxation and trust in the world, or in ourselves. There's a sense of urgency that things need to be done, this and that. And even when you have free time, you still have to go, you feel like you need to go distract. You're scrolling, you're doing something to distract constantly. And if you have free time just to sit there, dysregulated, you're upset. It's not a good thing. A related message would be, I'll make time for you. It expresses availability, priority, and valuing. Unfortunately, too many children feel that their parents don't have time for them. The more I learn, the more I realize I'm not the only one. Half the time she would angrily shoo us away instead of caring, like if we came to her with something, And a kid will keep coming back to them. The kid thinks, not consciously, it's not like a sentence that they think in their head out loud, but the vibe they walk away with and they grow with and build their worldview around is that they're not that awesome and they're a burden, which obviously lends to people pleasing and feeling not whole. I always felt like I was like 0.8 of a human, which is funny to say. I'm nerdy and numbery sometimes. And I felt like I wasn't a whole person. I didn't count. Which is a weird thing for a kid to grow their whole life feeling. This is up until, even part of me still, that it pops up, it comes up sometimes, and I let it happen and I feel it when it happens. I don't try to avoid it and I don't try to distract, no. So, next message, I'll keep you safe. I'll keep you safe could also be expressed as, I'll protect you. I won't let you be hurt or overwhelmed unnecessarily. A sense of safety is essential for a child to be able to relax. Let's give you some ASMR. Yeah, girly. The next long form we're going to do is, it's for each of those, but what happens when those messages are absent and what it kind of leaves you with, like how it can imprint on you. Let's just face it, stuff rolls downhill, and this is all downstream things, All these things that you think are deficits in you are just deficiencies in your parents' parenting style or in their ability to self-regulate and to be content and happy instead of needing certain things from you or needing to distract all the time and ignoring you, things like that, A lot of me, I feel the need to perform in a sense, like to always have something good and exciting and funny to talk about. I was always the funny kid in class. It sounds like, oh, well, what could be the harm in that, Well, I didn't feel okay unless I was making people laugh. I felt like I wasn't worth their time, and I would try to hide away until, I thought of a joke, in the middle of things going on, and I'd pipe it up, get a reaction, and I'd walk away feeling like I was 0.85, 0.9. And it not only, is a weird rut to be in, but it also adds pressure of, okay, they like me now, that hinges on me continuing this, so I need to keep upping my game and keep being that guy, keep the jokes rolling, and keep getting funnier. A sense of safety is essential for a child to be able to relax and explore. Or I'd add, exploring being creative. I could reproduce things. I like to sketch. I was artistic, but not creative at all. I needed a picture in front of me, and I would draw it with like a hyper realism kind of thing, like shading and all. But I wasn't creative. If you told me to just draw whatever I want, I couldn't see it. I wouldn't be able to reproduce that. It wasn't a thing for me. I just liked reproducing things that looked beautiful to me or looked cool. Or I couldn't create for anything. I could consume. I would read. You'd think, oh, that guy must have a lot going on. I was just following along. I didn't originate things because I wasn't to be creative. You're either fight or flight, or then you go back to, and this is like our more natural animalistic side. You go to fight or flight, and then once that's over, and the emotions have subsided, your heart rate's slowing back down, then you go back to being creative. But when you're in constant fight or flight by not having the best parenting, it's like a baseline to be in fight or flight now. Without safety, we may never feel ready to go out into the world. Without our caretaker's protection, our only protection is to stay small and build defensive structures into our personality and build that into our worldview. Everything is shaped with that as a given, that we need to defend and stay small and be ready because they didn't have our backs emotionally. So it's something we took on. And I think I wrote, she didn't care emotionally, so I had to do it over time. I had to worry extra because I didn't have somebody to do that for me early. She just didn't care. So that was built into my worldview. I gotta watch out. I'm always on guard. I'm in fight or flight. I'm not in creative mode. Almost last one. You can rest in me. It's a way of saying several things. First, I underlined this. I put triple on the side of this, so must have hit home. You can rest in me as a way of saying several things. First, it implies a protected space. If you had to be on guard, you can't really rest. It also implies availability. Mother needs to be here to rest in, and acceptance. It's a way of saying, with me, you can be at home. Or like, you can be yourself. You can rest in me. You don't have to perform. You can rest in me. It's like multifaceted. We all want a place where we can be totally ourselves, where we don't have to perform, and where we feel soothed and comforted in the company of another. And I wrote, well, this explains a lot, because I'm very performative. And that's why I slowly over the years just turned into a hermit, because it was pressure to socialize. When people would call, I wouldn't answer it a lot of the time. I didn't feel like performing sometimes. I wasn't up to the standard that I felt like I needed to sit across from them, to exist, around others. So I just shelled away, fight or flighty. I just defended back, I withdrew. So this is the last one. It's, I delight in you. It provides an affirmation of the child's preciousness. It says to the child, I wrote, also explains a lot. It says to the child, you're a delight. You're a joy to be around. We see this when mother's eyes light up when she sees us, in her smile, her laugh. So these aren't to say that it was always that way. Like, there were plenty of moments where she was having a good time. And probably, I don't remember them specifically, but probably moments where she actually did delight in me for however many seconds or whatever was going on. Maybe it was when I was performing. Maybe it was when I did something funny, and so I gleaned that from her, like, oh, I can parent her and keep her happy as long as I'm doing X or doing Y, instead of just being me, which is what the vibe I should have walked away with. She should have left me with that impression. Okay, guys, so yeah, rewind it and ask yourselves these, and don't even fish around for specific memories. Just see how it feels. I mean, specific memories are always helpful, but just whatever vibe you got, again, it may not have been them doing something on purpose, or it could have been totally accidental and they really did care. But to a kid, we interpret things how we were going to interpret them, and they just didn't acclimate or like adjust for our age, basically. So maybe they were treating us as if we were older and we could handle this and that and da-da-da. So a lot of parents, they try to raise you like the grown-up they want you to be, and that's not what you do you don't do that to a toddler. That's crazy. And you grow them up too early, and look at what happens. I grew up way too early mentally, and I took on way too much instead of just being as the baseline. So, all right, I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.